Hello, friends. It is a chilly day, and it is also a beautiful day in its own way. And the plan today is I'm going to do a loop of the downtown Line 1 subway. So I'll be starting at College Street and then going around all the way down to Union, possibly pop in, check out a few things to show them off because Toronto's a great city to do that in. And then also essentially going over to University of Spadina line, heading up from there, and then heading on back. So, A, how long does it take to walk the downtown Toronto subway? I'm going to guess it'll be about an hour, but we'll find that out together. And from here, we begin. So that's the plan. Starting from here, we're going to walk down and around, and then see how long it takes. So, I feel like this is for science. And by for science, I mean, for fun and silliness. This isn't the only stream today. We will be streaming later as well. Randy's joining us once again. We're going to do a deep dive into the Distillery District. So that's something I'm really excited about because Distillery District is a beautiful area. Lots of things to see. Very, very interesting stuff. But also, this is kind of like one of the parts of the city where you're going to get some of the fall colors coming in. Really, really beautiful nature. But if you're here, feel free to say hello. As always, my name is Matti. I am Toronto. I am here to show off hidden gems of the city, and we can go from there. So, gonna go around the guy with the leaf blower. Hopefully you're having a beautiful Tuesday. Surprisingly not super cold today. Just kind of nice. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. But let's see what the city has in store for us today. The answer is construction, of course. Because why else would Toronto do anything else other than build new things? So we are coming up to Yonge Street. Yonge Street is quite literally the longest street in the world. It starts down at the waterfront and then loops up through northern Ontario, passes Lake Huron, and then passes all the way down to the other end of Lake Superior, where it meets with Thunder Bay, which is almost to the border of Manitoba. And yeah, this street has been in operation pretty much for as long as Canada has. So obviously it didn't look like this then. And Yonge Street is its own beast compared to Highway 11, which is what it turns into, but still good. Get a squirrel. Oh. Stupid squirrel. Also very windy. All right. We are at the corner of Yonge and Brittlebane, or Maitland as it's often called on this side. And it's 4 minutes now. Let's see how long it takes. If anyone has any special things that you want me to point out while I am down on the road, feel free to let me know. I'll be sure to point them out. These are all new places, by the way. So this entire section here has just recently been built. There's a place called Japadog, and I don't know if they are going to be the most delicious thing I've ever had or the worst. As far as I'm concerned, hot dogs go one of those two ways, and no other way. So, hot dogs, not my favorite food. As a note, I am on Prism today. And I don't know if the chat is working, so if you are talking to me and I can't see it, I apologize. But hopefully that's not the case. Although I suspect it is. Let's see. This is what I call a test. Oh, there we go. Yeah, chat's working. Perfect. This is the building, by the way, that Randy pointed out the other day. The engine house number 3. But beautiful glass facade on the front of there. Essentially designed to mimic what the original building looked like. So, yeah. Hey, Otterly. Good to see you, buddy. We are currently doing a walk down Yonge Street, which will then turn into a walk around the Toronto number 1 line subway. Headed down to Union, going around from there, popping up Spadina St. George, and just pointing out some of the interesting things along the way. So, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, Juanita's here. Welcome, Juanita. Good to see you. Hopefully it's a good day there. It is slightly chilly here. I forget, are you in Louisiana or was it Boston? Because for some reason those were the two ideas in my brain as to where you were. Most of these people should not be riding their bikes on the sidewalk, but we'll let that slide. I will go around College Park because there's some interesting things to see in the little lot in the middle here. And I figure like it's worth, doesn't have to be a perfect line down, doesn't have to be a perfect line across. We can just do a circle and then see where we go from there. Texas. Okay, I was way off. I mean, I guess Louisiana's close enough. Nah, definitely not close enough. You're going to be so familiar with these streets that when you come to Toronto to visit, you'll just be able to walk them like a pro. One thing I do like to point out about Yonge Street is that it's probably the best example of Toronto sloping down towards the water. If you ever find yourself on a route going downwards or sloping down, you know that essentially you are walking south. Toronto is naturally on a gradient, on a grade curve. So essentially when you start from higher elevation, which inevitably you do when you are walking towards things, you go all the way down and it'll take you right to the lake. You're in Oakville. Very nice. Canuckstan. Ooh, I do like to point out, if you're a fan of board games, 401 Games, lovely little board game shop. I figure if you're into board games and you live in Toronto, you probably already know that. But just in case, you never know. This is the gym I go to sometimes. Haven't been the past month because, frankly, I've been getting quite a bit of cardio. It's still a good gym. I don't know why Planet Fitness is such a bad rap sometimes, but who knows? I do like to point out the IKEA in front of us doesn't have a showroom, but is one of the foremost, one of the only, actually, I think it's the only downtown IKEA in Toronto. Just going to take a quick detour over to the College Park Plaza because it's just a really interesting little space. Still see some of the trees are holding on to their color a little bit. And that one beautiful tree over there. Got a charming little Halloween setup here. I mean, delightful. Yeah. I knew someone who used to live in those buildings. They're actually like quite nice on the inside. The person wasn't, but the place was. Ah, beautiful tree. I mean, that's just nice. Good time to relax into it. They have the lily pad, splash pads over here. And if you look, they have the 3 little frog statues, which I think are, 4 of them. Or 5, I can't count. That's fine. All right. All the beautiful fall colors. By the way, all of this nature will rapidly die out because there is very little greenery where we are going. But that's also fine. How this business is called Demand Air. You want some air? Demand it. Heading back over to Young College. This oddly is one of the streets that like crossing on one half of the street is fine. Crossing on the other half of the street is just a nightmare. So if you ever find yourself here, always try to cross on the right side, or I should technically say the east side. West side? The west side. That's the side we're on now. I will not cross the street because they've had that building under construction for, I might be exaggerating, 50 years. And frankly, when you end up in that little maze of like the New York scaffolding tunnels, just awful. Especially if there's even like one person in front of you, you're just like, I can't move. This is a terrible feeling. But this way over here, that leads to part of TMU campus. Goes down. This is the building under construction. There is Toronto's bird, the crane. That joke will never not be funny in my head. So, that's the important thing. That's it. One nice thing about having a gimbal when you're walking down is that people tend to clear out of your way fairly instinctively. 51 years, gosh. Okay, maybe it's not 51 years. Perhaps it's only been 3 dozen. But still. Hey, Harjot. Good to see you, buddy. I always like to point out this building in front of us, the one with all of the interesting squares on them, because a couple months ago, I was giving a tour to someone, and they were just like, do you know where the TMU campus is? I'm just like, yeah, of course. So they're just like, can we go by it? Just like, well, sure, yeah, why? And they were just like, well, they were a part of a glass detailing business And so they were the ones down in Michigan who actually like printed and made all of those squares. And it's something I never would have thought about. But as soon as someone pointed out to me, I'm just like, oh, that's super cool and that's super interesting. But they go all the way up. It's like it's a fairly massive building. But yeah, she was just like, I just want to see the exterior. I'm just like, done. And she had a great time on her tour, I must say. If you want a tour of yourself, for yourself or otherwise, or for friends who are coming to Toronto, feel free to recommend me. I do tours pretty much every day. I am fairly affordable, and you can find the link in the description in the comments. As you can see, no shortage of people in the area. We're, of course, coming up to Yonge and Dundas, or as they are trying to call it now, Sankofa Square. Personally, I think the name is terrible. I don't think it's an accurate representation of Toronto or Torontonians. The fact that it's an African word that is being used in a context for a place that's something about it just reads wrong to me. I'm just like, this strikes me a little bit like cultural appropriation. We're just like, oh, this word represents something that we think this should represent. And I'm just like, well, I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like it would have been nicer going to either like a native word or, something more about local gathering rather than an international word used for a concept that, kind of represents us, but not entirely. I don't know. It's just always struck me as a little, perhaps a bit tone deaf. But obviously very popular square. The screens are divisive. I know the person who first created Yonge and Dundas Square has completely disavowed the experience. He absolutely hates this place because he felt like it should be a gathering space and not a media space. And now it's desperately trying to be Times Square, but it is not Times Square. It is a completely different square, all of its own beast. I feel like Times Square is like, it's iconic. It has the structure. It has everything through. But here, it's just kind of here. There's not a lot to it. So, not one I would overly, I'm not crazy about it. But let's go Blue Jays. I think we won the last game, but I don't know for sure. If you know for sure, let me know in the comments, because I'm pretty sure that happened. Let's just take a minute to go in the middle and just take a good lap around. So this is the square as it stands today. It is, you can see the vision for what this was supposed to be. Like the open space, the stage, which is available there. Not used very often because mostly for street fests and other things like that. A lot of places come here regularly and do different items, but yeah, certainly no shortage of advertisements in this area now. My question to anyone watching is, do you think the screens add anything or do they take away? Because I'm of the mindset where I am more media repellent, and I don't think advertisements work as well as they did. But I have to say, the sheer amount of screens that come up in this square is, even I think, excessive. But I'm not a fan of them. I'm also just not a fan of calling it Sankofa Square. I'm also just not a fan of the square, to be completely open and honest. A couple of years ago, they were doing World Pride here, and they had the stage set up I think it was like the world's most number of drag queens. So I had a person performing in the show, and I came down to see her. And yeah, that's kind of one of the only festivals I've seen work really well in the area. This is Simon's, just opened up. Oh, JKIMC. JKIM? Either way, welcome. Happy to have you today. We're passing by some cool places. So this is the Ed Mervish Theater. The rumor is that this was where they were going to put the Honest Ed sign, but unfortunately they did not do that. Oh, I didn't show Sam the Record Man sign. That's fine. I've shown it before. And I will show it again. But is currently playing MJ the Musical, which, you know, Michael Jackson, a controversial figure in today's day and age. Incredible musician, incredible talent, incredibly abused as a child, and led to a lifetime of mental... Who knows? But we did just pass by Dundas Station, so that is our second station on the route. Ooh, Carlos, hello. Not sure if you've been here before, but welcome. We are currently just heading south on Yonge, but the plan today is to do a loop around the Toronto subway, at least line 1 downtown, then see how long it takes to walk it and how much time you would actually save on the subway if you were to do one or the other. But first off, welcome. I do talk the entire time, hopefully. I have had a lot of coffee today, so at some point I might just be like, I need to speed this up, because otherwise I might, need a facility break. But besides that, everything's good. To the right, obviously, Eaton Centre. Eaton Centre is one of the largest malls in Canada, and certainly one of the largest malls in North America. It is multiple stories, full of many shops of all kinds, mostly the standard mall shops you would see in most Canadian malls. So you have everything from Roots to, well, EB Games isn't in there anymore, but Roots, it only has Roots. But like Zara, Topman, all the clothing stores you would expect to find in a mall of this city's density. And then on the outside, they actually have a bunch of exits into restaurants that are considered a part of Eaton Centre, but often do not connect to the inside. So like Milestones up here does not connect to the inside. See if I can scooch past these folks. Perfect. Coming up, we have Firkin. Firkin is essentially a pub chain in Toronto. Not quite sure what the equivalents would be, but essentially lots of pub grub. If you're ever watching sports in Toronto, this is usually where they go. There's multiple Firkins throughout the city. They are fine. They're not amazing, but they're fine. But one I like to show off really quickly is the Elgin and Winter Garden Theatre. This is one of the only, I think this is the only theater in North America that has 2 operating theaters in the same space built on top of each other. So Winter Garden is a beautiful space. The entire top is just done with a canopy of fake trees, fake leaves. Quite gorgeous. Quite stunning. And then Elgin is, of course, another theater that is built on top of that. So both very spacious. You'll find a lot of Mervish productions coming through here. These ones, as you can see, mostly looks like it's drag queen touring shows. They have the Robin Hood, which is going to be the panto that comes by every year, and many other options. Queen Street is our third TTC stop on the Line 1 route. You can see the yellow symbol with the 1 on it. The path symbol beside it indicates that the Toronto Path is underneath us. And the Toronto Path is something that connects most of downtown Toronto. It is about 33 kilometers of essentially mall underneath us at all times. That just is absolutely impactful. It can go through, you can literally go from subway to subway station in downtown Toronto and just not have to leave and enter the cold. So very, very important and good during winter. Certainly a part, I do have a video. If you're ever lost, I can show you how to get from the top of the path, which is the Atrium on Bay and the Eaton Centre, all the way down to Union Station in about 20 minutes. So, yeah, if you ever need directions, follow me for that. Follow me on that. That journey will not change ever. So this building right over here, this used to be Hudson's Bay and Saks Fifth Avenue. And what used to happen is every Christmas they would decorate these windows with the most beautiful dioramas and gallery displays. And then the past couple of years they've been kind of toning it down, toning it down, toning it down. And this year, this is the first year where the Bay doesn't exist anymore. It is no longer even a it's not even a store anymore. After 350 some years of operation, literally the world's oldest retailer shut down earlier this year. There is no idea about what they'll do with those windows. And it's kind of losing something that was really kind of special to a lot of people. So no one quite knows if anything will happen at the windows. Most likely not. Very few options to be done at this point, but unfortunately, not much can be done about that situation now. We're now coming up to Adelaide. One thing you might see on these videos is it is the time of year where the weather is changing, and homeless people in Toronto don't leave. But what they often will do, out of necessity, is to gather around the steam vents that come up from the TTC tunnels that run all underneath us. So the subway does produce a lot of heat. That's why you'll notice there was a lot of grates all around downtown Toronto. And often as a way to keep warm or out of necessity, people will use their sleeping bag, huddle onto the grapes, and then literally just sleep there. Sleep out in the open because it's better than dying. So, unfortunate situations. Toronto doesn't really have any homeless solutions or plans available right now, nor will they, I don't think, any point soon. But social conscious is something that they're working on, I guess. Ooh, I do like to point out this one. This is more of a selfish place, but this is the craft beer market. If you go in here, they have quite literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of drafts beers on draft all around the world. Absolutely delicious. So many options. Really great establishment. Very, very open, very friendly. They used to have it that you can actually pay for your bill at your table. And unfortunately, I don't think they do that anymore. I can imagine why, but yeah. Every time I've been there, it's been really nice. Definitely appreciate a good place. We are coming up to King Street. King Street is the fourth stop that we've gone to. It has currently been about a half hour, so 28 minutes. If you were to take the subway down, that probably would have taken you maybe 10, but that's okay. I do like to point out across the street there is a place called Starbucks. This was a 24-hour Starbucks. I don't know if it still is, but several years ago I dated someone, and their best friend worked at this particular Starbucks, and unfortunately, they were an absolute jerk. So I don't like that Starbucks, because that person who was an absolute jerk many, many years ago, their ghost still haunts me. So, in other live of Toronto, it was raining. Oh God, I hope not. If it starts to rain, my entire stream is screwed. Or maybe it's possible they're just not live. Bum, bum, bum. But either way, basic mode on, buddy. Welcome. Good to have you. The plan is to kind of try to do a loop of the entire Toronto number 1 subway line. And from there, we will hop around and then see how long it takes. In case of walking versus if you were to actually take the TTC one way or the other. There we go. So we're just going to peel south. You can tell, as you can tell, still going south, still making our way towards the water, which, you know, leads to good things, leads to nice, bright things. Because of how the route goes, we will not be actually going all the way down to the street. We will not actually be going all the way down to the lake. But if you could see beyond the bridge that's in front of us, that would all be essentially a really, really beautiful, pristine view of Lake Ontario. And it's kind of a shame because the clouds like stop right there, so you won't get to see them. But it is very nice. But because of the way the actual TTC route goes, we won't be able to kind of catch that from this angle. But it is there, I assure you. Lake Ontario is the smallest of the Great Lakes, so it is only about 300,000 gallons. No, that's not right. It's more than that. Crap. I actually learned this from my Niagara tour, but unfortunately I can't remember exactly what it is these days. But anyways, glad to see such positive vibe. Oh, thanks, buddy. It's good to be had. I am currently, I am aggressively streaming lately because my hope, I can just talk about this. In order for me to become a YouTube partner, I need to hit 500 subscribers. I need to get 3,000 watch hours. So I'm about 1/3 of the way there for the hours and about 3/5 of the way there for subscribers. So if there's any way you can help me out, we appreciate it. But also, no pressure. It is a great time to be alive. And also the worst, but mostly great. A little parade of children wearing Maple Leaf jerseys, meaning I would guess there is a game today, or possibly they might be going around the corner to one of Toronto's main establishments. Wow, they are yelling a lot. Oh. Watch out, buds. Those were very loud children, but good for them. Let them have their fun. Coming up to the left, you'll see Meridian Hall. This used to be called the Hummingbird Center. It used to be called lots of different things. Another theater in Toronto. Usually a lot of a lot of like mid-sized touring artists come here. So like I came here and saw Postmodern Jukebox several years ago. I think SpongeBob the Musical came and played here. So many different options, but a lot of unique places for sure. And you can just kind of see a little bit of the sculpture in the distance there of the bird, which I just think is a beautiful sculpture. Hello, Williams. Welcome, welcome. We are doing an exploration of Toronto, specifically the distance it would take you. Oh, you can actually see the GO train going beyond the glass bridge really briefly. But for those who do celebrate Toronto's, or I should say Canada's national sport, welcome to the Hockey Hall of Fame. I have never been in here because I just don't care about hockey, but I am still Canadian, I assure you. I appreciate the sport and what's done for national pride. Just never something I resonated with. That being said, ask me about Eurovision. I know way too much. They have the hockey sculpture on the outside. If you do ever get the chance to come here and you are a hockey fan, do not miss this. It is the home of the Stanley Cup, which is probably the only sport that has a trophy that you could name. So I don't know if that's legitimately true, but absolutely seems true because, I mean, on our left, this is the Dominion Public Building, one of Toronto's earliest and essentially oldest buildings. Fresh limestone was built, used essentially to build it. And obviously it comes right along this street. Front Street goes all the way down to Union Station. And if you follow this all the way down, you'll have multiple entrances over to the Metro Toronto Convention Center and everything. Above us, we have the Gem of Toronto. So this is the CN Tower, built in the 1970s. It is, there it is. There it goes. Sorry about that. It is enormous. It is absolutely Toronto's landmark. Some people think it's ugly. I am not some people. I think it's a very, very interesting building. Certainly an idea of what technology and architecture looked like of the era. And I just think that's neat. Below this, on the left, you will see beside the Dominion building is a much more established and well-known limestone sandstone building. This is Union Station. Union Station is Toronto's busiest intersection. It is where all of the GO buses meet. GO buses and GO trains. That is our regional transport, where it goes from Toronto to other places. So you can go from here to Niagara Falls. You can go from here down to like Windsor, Kitchener. Most places in Southern Ontario are covered by the GO network. And I just think that's neat. On the right side, you'll see a building that not many people would care about. But this was actually the building where my father first worked. So when he was younger, quite a bit younger, he was a lawyer. And when he was just starting out, he worked in this building right here. And it used to be much bigger because everything else around it was much smaller. But now all the buildings around it are much, much bigger. So, there we go, the CN Tower. That's what people come here to see. How's life in Toronto? Is it quite busy or normal as others? I'm a software engineer and a MERN stack developer, and I was hoping to visit for further studies. Toronto's fairly busy. It is absolutely a city on the move. It's a city that never quite knows what it wants to be. But I always like to say Toronto is a city of confusion that somehow makes it work. And what I mean by that is that we are a highly walkable city that tries desperately to appeal to cars. We are a progressive city that tries to appeal to conservative mindsets. It is a city of confusion that doesn't quite have a handle on what it should be, but somehow still is learning and trying to create something different. This is the Royal York, the Fairmont. Beautiful hotel, absolutely stunning. And what I will say about it is that when the Queen came here, and I guess now in the future, when the King comes here, this is the hotel that they will be staying at. It is large, it is impressive. Anytime, for instance, in Handmaid's Tale, when they were put up in a hotel, this was the hotel they filmed at. It's absolutely iconic. The 7th floor of this hotel. So if you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, up there where the ledges are, that is reserved entirely for the king. So when the royal family comes here, that is the floor that they stay on, because the entire floor is absolutely reserved for them. No one else can use it. No one else can go in there except for cleaning purposes. And yeah, absolutely beautiful establishment. This hotel is one of the oldest in Canada, possibly only beaten by the Chateau. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful building. I would go in and take some pictures, but unfortunately, I don't want to. To our left, Union Station is our 6th stop in the TTC line. So we're going from, essentially we went from College, which is number 1, College, down to Dundas, down to Queen, down to King, down to Union. Oh, sorry, it's 5th, the 5th one. The next one's going to be the 6th stop. I will say, if you are looking to be a software developer in Toronto, there are a lot of companies, tech companies in the city. The one that comes to mind most vividly is Shopify. I can say that they were an interesting company to work for. I can also say that they fired me because they didn't want to pay me more money. So, yeah. Maybe my opinion of them is maybe a little biased. Maybe just a little biased, but important nonetheless. I feel like it's important to give people the truth that they want. All right. So underneath us, this is where the subway system will actually start to peel away from the downtown core and start to make its way back up into the upper parts of downtown. Now, Yonge Street is very solid. All of the subway stations line up beautifully right underneath the street. This side's a little bit more dynamic. It is called the University Spadina line, because it will literally curve over and then come up against two separate streets. We won't be going towards both of them, but essentially this way up here, we'll follow the university line all the way up to all the way up to St. George. And then from St. George, we'll cut across Bloor and explore the other part of that. So we won't be making it over to Spadina if you're really hoping to see that. I have shown Spadina in other videos, but we will visit again sometime soon. Welcome in, everyone. Oh, there's a big one here. Life, it happens, but yeah, they have to care for their employees so that they can use their full potential. Yeah. I didn't really fit in Shopify, so I'm not overly surprised that that happened. I am quite dynamic and outspoken, and I crave originality and excitement. And after a while, my experience there was actually as a customer service representative, and I was a text agent in which I excelled. And then they switched me over to phones, which I detested, because I'm just like, I am operating at a level of tech proficiency where I had 3 chats at a time and they were all going very well. And then on the other hand, on calls, I'm just like, I am deliberately being handicapped and slowed down and being forced to talk to angry people, and it's stressing me out. So I was literally seeking essentially I went to my doctor. I'm just like, can I make a request for my own mental health to only be a chat specialist? And my doctor said, absolutely. And then the week before I got my letter of recommendation, they were just like, yeah, we're letting you go. I'm just like, oh, okay, never mind then. But Shopify is an important business. They are very important to Canada and very important to the economy. Do I think they are a shady business? Yes. But then again, where isn't these days? I also just like to point out the structure of these two buildings that mirror each other. So those are essentially cutouts. I couldn't tell you which floor they cut out on, but yeah, beautiful buildings. Some Toronto's glass building. Is that Nick? Oh my God, hello. I miss you so much. We were just passing, well, we didn't pass by Second Cup earlier, but we could have. I have told the Second Cup story multiple times. Nick, who is just in the chat right now, one of my dear friends, now lives in Belgium. Do not get to see or hear from him as much as I would like, but lovely individual. And me and him worked together at a place called Second Cup, which is like Toronto's Starbucks. And there was 5 of us who all worked together at Timothy's, and most of us got along pretty well. And what happened was that when Second Cup, which was Timothy's was a rival coffee company also on the street. So what happened was I actually have to do this right now. Interesting. What happened was when Second Cup opened, there was 5 of us who were poached, and we all got to go and work for Second Cup instead, and we got to choose our own hours. And yeah, it was good. I was young. I was dumb. That's also like a good way to be. Can you wave in the camera so that we know it's live? Thank you. Okay, just for you. Oh, hello. I'm Matti, just for those who don't know. This is Toronto. I like to show off my city. And yeah, this is what we do. So we are currently on our way up University Line, and we'll go from there. Y'all get a picture of my face. You better appreciate. So yeah, Nick is probably best known in my brain. He actually gave me a little teddy bear, and I still have it on my dresser. So Nick, I see you every day. And what happened was we had 3 jokes, because we had one where there was like referencing a Katy Perry sketch where he was just like, I have a clip. And it was really funny to us for some reason. And then the other one we had was cinnamon, because apparently there was someone who came in and couldn't order cinnamon correctly. So it was like, it's in so we would always be like, it's and then we would know it was cinnamon. And the other one was Polita, who was the famous Philippine Philippine artist, but we would always just call Polita at each other, and I'm not entirely sure why. Nick can elaborate. Oh, oh wow, so much. Thank you. That means a lot. Thank you very much. Envy your mustache. Thank you. Hello from the UK. Hello, Sam. Welcome. Great to have you. I saw the message earlier. Yeah, I think I'll be there by 11:30 a.m. That's Yoshi, good friend of ours. Excited to have him tomorrow. We're going to be going for lunch. And then, just so everyone knows, later today, me and Randy are going to be exploring the distillery district. And Randy, of course, is someone who I've done multiple streams with at this point. Very, very smart individual, very historically minded, and he's got some treats for us. So I'm very excited for that one as it comes later. Okay. I mean, hats off. I would take my hat off, but unfortunately, that is one step too many. I do have a day of games to attend tomorrow after lunch. Totally fine. So tomorrow, I'm going to a movie premiere. So there's a movie called Lesbian Space Princess. And apparently, last week, me and my trivia team, which we play every Thursday, we play... Why do we have overhead wires? I think those are you referring to the streetcar lines? So the streetcar lines are along most of the Toronto major intersections. Otherwise, it's just literally power lines that go from one to the other in the streetcars. Awesome, excited to see you ready. Yeah, so that starts at 5 o'clock. And then tomorrow I'm doing a live lunch with Yoshi and someone else around 11:30 or 12. And then me and Hunter are going to be doing a walk to the movie afterwards. So that'll be around 5 or 6. Good to see you, Nick. Thanks for stopping by. Oh, lovely to see you. What a surprise. What a great surprise. I was in one of the customer service and work for Spectrum. It didn't work for long because it wasn't adding any sort skills in my list. You know what happens there in people frustrations. It really is. Like, I find, especially if I have a very curious mind. I always crave stimulation. I crave knowledge. That's one of the reasons why I love tourism so much, is because not only can you go other places, but you can also just go out in your own city and discover so much things like history and stories. And the more people you talk to, the more stories you get, and everything just digs up more. And yeah, it can be a really beautiful thing. And like, how your relationship to a city can change based off of how much you have. Yeah, it's really beautiful. What's the temperature there? It's currently 10 degrees centigrade where I am. I can say it's about 10 degrees here. So I believe that's centigrade, because Fahrenheit would be very cold. Yeah, so it's about 10 degrees centigrade. Canada uses centigrade? Yes, because America uses Fahrenheit, and it gets very confusing when I'm just like, it's so hot, it's 30 degrees, and people are just like, you should be dead. I just want to point this out really quickly. This is the Four Seasons Center of the Performing Arts, the Canadian Opera Company. If you want to see the Nutcracker, this is where you go. Very, very suggestive name when you shorten it down. But they knew what they were doing. They knew who their audience was. People are just like, you are coming here for the dance belts, right? So if we were to go to the right here, we would see Eaton Center from the other side. We would see Osgood Hall, which is a law space. You would also see both city halls, the old city hall and the new city hall. The new city hall is the only one that is currently 100% full, but over here you'll see the Canadian Life building. Beautiful building, but on top of which there's a little tower. And if you see the lights, if it is getting warmer, the lights will ascend at night, and if it's getting colder, the lights will descend. So that's kind of how you get a sense of how the temperature is moving in the city downtown. So keep that in mind. Elbows up. Always elbows up. It's like, this is how we get things to happen, is by doing things and making them happen. Wow, this is actually like, just going to peek over here for you for a second. A lot of construction happening there. But you can see where the subway extensions will go. So that just means we probably just passed Queen, meaning we probably just passed like 2 subway stops that I was completely forgetting about because I just can't stop yakking. Hopefully y'all appreciate the yakking. Oh, is that something I should do where every now and then I just flip the camera around so people know that it's happening live? Always an option. If it's a good idea, let me know. If it's a bad idea, I'm not going to do it. If you go this way, that will intersect into Nathan Phillips Square. That is the rotunda that has the echo chamber inside of it. These fountains have finally been drained, which makes sense. It is getting to that point of year. But what is the difference between the orange and green cones? I don't know. What's your... Like, are you thinking those cones? Like the ones in the middle there? Because if it's said, they're both construction cones. I don't know if there's one particular value to one over the other. But I think sometimes if they're off color, that can mean it's like a specific movie company that blocks certain areas off. Or just a specific company that does certain things. But back by the building site. I imagine that's just probably for the construction site to block certain areas off. I couldn't tell you specifically if there's a reason for them, but that would be my instinct or my thought about it. So 10 seconds, 8 seconds. You know what? I can make it. We're fine. I've got strong, powerful legs. I can use them. I used them. Now we are on the other side of the street. Mwahaha. So a big part of this area, you will notice, skyscrapers. Lots of skyscrapers all over. Most of these buildings are over 50 stories. 50 stories? Actually, yeah, I probably wouldn't be surprised. So a lot of these buildings down here, very, very tall. And then as soon as we kind of cross north of College, a lot of them drop down quite a fair bit. So definitely some interesting options in that area for sure. I do also like to point out, over here you will see the Toronto flag. It is based around the essentially the new City Hall building. It is the 2 lines coming down to mimic the ovoid shape created by the structure. And then there is a red maple leaf at the bottom. And the red maple leaf is obviously designated as Canadian, Canada, blah, blah, blah. But I always like to say that it's because the downtown City Hall is the building that is most likely to be blown up in most media. So anytime the Toronto City Hall is featured, especially in a science fiction show, it will likely get blown up. They did it in Handmaid's Tale, they did it in Resident Evil, they did it in The Expanse. I believe they also did it in The Boys. But yeah, the Toronto City Hall definitely likes to get blown up. What's your favorite restaurant in the village? Oh, this is an easy one. There is a place called Hair of the Dog. And Hair of the Dog has a butter chicken grilled cheese. And it is incredible. It is delicious. It is hearty. It is filling. And even their fries are fantastic. I have never gone to Hair of the Dog and not been satisfied. And if you ever go to Hair of the Dog, I will likely meet you there because it's not far from where I live. But yeah, Hair of the Dog, absolute top of the list. Fantastic restaurant in the middle of the village. I will say other places in Toronto, if you like sushi, there's a space up called Sushi on Bloor that I really enjoy. There's a fantastic Japanese place I've just recently discovered in the Grange. Many, many options and absolutely beautiful, beautiful areas. Most of my places I recommend also conveniently affordable. So that also helps. Going to visit from London, Ontario. Oh, that's excellent. When you do, if you would like to book a tour with me, feel free, let me know. Does Canada have its own brand of computer systems? I'm trying to move away from Microsoft. Can't say why in this stream as it's not the place, but I'm sure you know. Yeah, I can understand that. I don't, as someone who is not in the tech field, I couldn't say in particular, but I'm pretty sure most of Canada would be either the Apple or Microsoft ecosystem. Yeah, I'm not really sure what would be beyond that. I'm not very tech savvy, unfortunately. That's why I just walk places. But that's the Miles Nadal Heart Center. Man, he is such a philanthropist. I didn't realize it, but I'm just like, he is the one who has, so this is the Heart Center, so obviously a wing of the hospital dedicated to heart research. He's also the one who does the Jewish Community Center up at Bathurst and Bloor. And the other day I discovered that he had a children's center over on like Parliament. And just like, how much did he actually like sponsor? I just get into that thought of just being like, remember when rich people tried to outdo each other by proving that they were the most good? It's like, what a cool legacy. For him to just keep popping up in different places. Just like, that's just nice. I mean, if you had all the money in the world, wouldn't you want to like funnel that into things that make the world better? So that later on people will be like, oh man, that guy was awesome. Like the Rockefeller Center. He might have been rich, but people think he was a good guy. I think. I don't know. Maybe he wasn't. Who knows anything anymore? But you had the money, you might as well spend it on things that make the world better. Anyways, that's my thought. This is the children's hospital. This is sick kids. Supposed to. They really are. For years, they actually had a giant sweater in front, and it was literally in lights being like dedicated by Ryan Reynolds. And yeah, but the children's hospital, the Labatt Family Heart Center, specifically for sick kids. Yeah. Lots of research centers around here. So this is like the hospital sector. If we were to turn down Gerard, this would be multiple entrances into different items in terms of, what's the right word? Heart research, body research, mostly research centers around here. Fire hydrant snow poles already. Must get deep snow there. It depends on the year. Toronto doesn't often get like huge outpourings of snow, but when it does, like it's definitely a case of when it rains, it pours. And sometimes it do pour. But, all right. The ambulance was going across, but I want to actually cross before it. Just trying to be inconspicuous, says the guy with the camera on a gimbal and a mustache like a 1920s villain. So yeah, I'm also from Northern Ontario, where we get like a lot of snow. Now I'm talking like feet and feet and feet worth of snow. So just keep that in mind. So my idea of a lot of snow is slightly skewed in that direction. Cool mustache. I do my best. I do always like to play the flag game. So anytime I see a bunch of flags, I always try to figure what they all are. And these ones are all easy. You could probably guess all of them from here. Unless you're my friend Marcel. In which case, good luck to you. Now, this is a place I have shown off multiple times. We are coming up to the government building, so this is where City Hall is mostly responsible for the city, municipal governments. This year is coming up to Queen's Park, which is the area that's responsible for provincial governments. So if you're from America, that would be like our state. So Toronto is located in Ontario. It is the capital of Ontario. Its population is roughly around 6 million people, if you include the Greater Toronto Area. The rough estimate is about up to, I think, 8 or 9 million. But Definitely a lot of people in a very small amount of space, most of whom transport in and out every day, which is why Toronto also conveniently right now has a terrible traffic problem. But my solution is they should build blimps. If we could have blimps that come into Toronto, that would be cool. And people would come for the blimps. Yeah, Toronto right now is facing massive traffic issues. But in addition to that, they are also mandating that most businesses downtown need to hire people specifically to come into the office. So they are, instead of taking the traffic problem and relieving it, they would rather do that and then demonize bike lanes, which I don't understand. If anyone can help me make that make sense, I would appreciate it on a deep, fundamental level. This is college, just to show everybody where we are. So we would be here. This is College Street. If we were to go over here, this is Bay Street. Young Street is the one that's over here. That's where we found College Street. That's where we started. So we've gone College, Dundas, Queen, King, and then Union was the fifth. And then we came up to St. Andrew, Osgood, and now I'm missing one, St. Patrick, and now we're at Queen's Park Station. The next one up will be Museum, and then we'll be up to Bloor, and we'll be mostly done the roundabout. Ooh, geese. So these are Canadian geese, for those who don't know or haven't seen. They are, shall we say, birds with great attitude. So you do not piss these birds off. I mean, you could, but you'd only do it once. But yeah, they are in the process of flying south for the winter. The theory is that the reason Canadians are so nice and enjoyable is because we take all of our hate and all of our mean-spiritedness and our evil, and we pour it into the birds, and then they fly south for the winter. So, is that true or not? Yes, absolutely true. And if you don't believe me, that's an issue, not an ish-me. So, keep that in mind. As we go through, it looks like there is some kind of media scramble outside the provincial building. No surprise there. Chamber is usually in session at this point. Nope. This is probably my favorite, but I know I point this building out every time, but hopefully you'll forgive me. The entire part of this building here, the Whitney building, entirely empty. So it was built way before they fully understood how to make skyscrapers in Toronto. But like all, 10 of those floors on top in that little tower, you're not allowed up there. You can't go into there. The structure is so faulty that if you were to go in there, there is a likelihood that it would collapse. But they still use the building underneath it. You just can't use the building in front. That person was drunk. I have to say, first time I've actually had someone run into me. Just like, oh, they must be so embarrassed. All right, onwards. Remember just a few days ago I was here and I caught this tree and it was so beautifully like orange and it's already faded so much. When just like still gorgeous. The fall colors are out in full effect right now, which is nice. But most of them are actually falling off, which is unfortunate. Lots of them have berries coming up. Of course, trees that germinate this late in the year are attempting to get the birds to eat them. So that when the birds essentially defecate in new parts of the forest, the seeds that are located in their crap will freeze, and then in the thaw of the spring, they should hopefully take root. And that is the beauty of life in nature, and blah, blah, blah. So, there you go, the Whitney block. And there's the building. It is actually lovely construction, especially with the top part. With all the fancy edges. Hey, Timmy, good to see you. We were just talking about food, and somehow you showed up. Just like perfect timing. So normally, at this point of the venture, I would flip over to Queen's Park. You know what? I will. I think I will. But I'll go around the outside and I'll go counterclockwise to it. Just so we can get a different view of Queen's Park rather than just the same one I always give. And that should let us come up right by the Raw Museum from a different angle, see its beauty, then go from there. This one's also in the Whitney block. Just some beautiful construction that I don't get to show off often, so with the cannons in front. This is, of course, the other part of Toronto, and that is the massive amounts of traffic all over, all the time. And this is why you don't drive in downtown Toronto. How about that game yesterday, 18 innings? Are you serious? Who won? I've heard nothing about the game, so I assume it's probably not the Blue Jays that won. But hopefully, did it actually go for 18 innings? Goodness gravy. Come on, taxi, you're not getting through. You're gonna try though. Now he's gonna feel bad because I got him on camera. All right, so normally I would go through the park here and tell the story all about the horse, but I'm gonna go around and I'm gonna catch the other side of the park. Queen's Park is beautiful. Don't know anything about baseball, but I wish we won. Okay, so we did lose then. Good to know. But this is Queen's Park. Dodgers took it 6-5. Oh, ended around 3 a.m. Oh, good Lord. That would be arduous. But hey, at least it was close. That just means the Blue Jays have a chance, man. They could do it. I've seen miracles before. Park. A lot of the trees are actually just losing their leaves now, so it's not quite as beautiful as it could be, but still very nice. Second longest game in baseball history. You're kidding! Oh my God. Oh, that's frustrating. I hate that I'm getting wrapped up in baseball, but I'm just like, you know what? No, this is pride at this point. This is Canadian pride. This is what we need. I've never pronounced this before. This Curus Ruba red oak was planted in honor of Mrs. Oh no. So that used to be a tree there, I'm guessing. Oh. Well, the rock memorializing him is still there. There's your squirrel. No. He wants none of this. You're a star, my friend. Second longest baseball game in baseball history. This is, of course, a fountain. I have actually never seen this fountain turned on. I don't even know if it's still operational, but maybe one day. You never know. Things could happen. But just a lot of fall flowers, fall plants out. If you cut over there, that's U of T. I've shown this campus multiple times. Always beautiful, always nice to see and explore. This one particular area is Trinity College, so this is the seminary area. Just to give you guys a sense of Queen's Park, if I was to go over here, you will see the statue. Oh, look at him. You think he notices? Come on, buddy. No, he does not care. Let him eat. Beautiful. Well, that can apply to the park, the squirrel, or myself. And I'll take all three. I could walk on the path over there, but I'm just like, that's boring. Let's walk through the middle of the park. Oh, hey, Walking LA is here. Welcome, welcome. My thought, I'm going to need to watch your channel more because I'm just like, walking in LA, isn't LA mostly like a car city and like also like Toronto renowned for its traffic? I wonder how true that is or how much of a thing that is. But I like that's all I can think about when I think of LA. It's not exactly a walk city in my mind, but I'm super curious how it goes for you. In the UK, we say autumn rather than fall. I don't think there's like a standard way to say it in Canada because I've heard it referred to as both. And I think autumn is like, I have a friend named Autumn. So when I say autumn, I just think of that. But for some reason, I just go for fall. I don't think there's any particular reason for it. I know you like both are equally acceptable, but I think America says more fall and UK says more autumn, and Canada kind of being of both worlds. It takes both. I think it's becoming one. That's awesome. I think it's so cool to see like the more, I don't know, every city should be a walkable city in my brain. And so making every city a walkable city should be high on every city's priority list because A, it's great for tourism, and B, it's just great for people. People like walking if they can, unless they're rich, and then they can like, you know, then they do their own thing. But those aren't real people. We judge those people. Oh, perfect. We dropped the link to Walking in LA's channel. Check him out. I know I intend to. I like to say there. I say the time before the Great Freeze. That's true. Well, especially in Halifax. So that's definitely. The UK and Canada share a great king. Is it me? Oh, no, I guess it's King. King Charlie. You know what? He has made no impact here whatsoever. I still think it's the Queen. Man, like, I'm not a royalist by any stretch of the imagination, but like, I just still think there's a Queen. You'll see in the distance, that's Robarts Library. It is an extension of U of T. This is U of T, which is Toronto's largest university campus. It goes very, very big, but Robarts Library in particular is interesting because it was designed to look like a peacock. So when you look at it from a certain angle, you can see it looking like a peacock, but it's like a brown peacock. And it's like, that's kind of like the thing that you wouldn't expect a peacock to be because peacocks are super colorful and interesting and brown isn't. But that's just me being judgy because that's what I do. But, I always remember, there was one day my friend wanted to do like a photo shoot, and like we were going on a date and they were taking photographs. Like they took me over here into this area right here, and they took like so many photographs of me and just being like, oh my God, it's so nice. And I was just like, what a great feeling. If you ever want a great date idea, take someone on a photo shoot and just like give them compliments for like a half hour. It's great. It was great. Welcome, Zach. Good to have you. Peacocks are mean. Look out. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Well, peacocks are mean. Geese are mean. Today is mean birds day. So we're talking about the blue jays. They're a mean bird. Especially in baseball. That's why they're such a good team. King Charles won't interfere unless requested by the people. That's fair. I mean, he took long enough to get there, so. Any cool events happening in Toronto for Halloween? Absolutely. So Toronto, every Halloween. Oh, I'm just going to come and do this because this is just a really pretty gate in the middle of nowhere. If they close this, how will people get in? What will happen? Yes. So Halloween, the church in Wellesley Village shuts off the street and it turns into a giant, almost like a mini festival. So people go out, they have a few drinks, they laugh, they party. Yeah, It's a really good experience to just kind of get out there and walk the street in your costume. I'll be there. I'll be streaming. I believe Eddie's going to come as well. I think there's a few other streamers who will be there. But if it rains, then no one will be out. My costume this year is either going to be Sexy Bob Burger or the Cozy Wizard. So we'll find out which. Gold leaf, the Canadian banks have no shame. Gold leaf, the Canadian banks have no shame. Okay. Not quite sure where that came from, but I trust it was something I said. Maybe. This place over here. This is actually a really interesting ceramic museum. I've never been to it myself. Oh, sorry, that's it right there. I'm looking at the wrong one. This is U of T somewhere. But if you go over there, there's a really interesting ceramic museum that my friend went to. I've never been to. I'm just like, I should really go. Toronto has a lot of museums that I've just never experienced, but would absolutely love to. But hopefully I can get a better view of that on the other side. The one museum I have been to many, many, many times, this is the Royal Ontario Museum. It is big. It is absolutely beautiful. It has... This used to be a planetarium that they shut down. Sorry, I started in the middle of the stream by the Royal Bank building on front. Ah, yes. That was the one that my dad worked at. So I did show that building off a little bit. But yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. Well, this is the Royal Ontario Museum. Beautiful space. I'll be honest, last time I went there, I was whelmed. Not overwhelmed, not underwhelmed, just whelmed. It was fine. It was neat. But yeah, certainly not an area that I would go crazy for. But that being said, it has one of the nicest rock and gem collections I've ever seen. And I wasn't expecting to be like a rock fan, but now I'm just like, these stones rock. That was a perfect joke, but it's actually genuine as well because it's great. This is the museum I was thinking of. So this is the Gardner Museum, and apparently inside it's like ceramics and a bunch of other stuff like that. I never got to be in there, but Halloween originated in Ireland. Interesting. I mean, that would make sense because it was All Hallows Eve. And so, to my knowledge, it was a way to clear out bad spirits, but specifically in counterbalance to paganism and the rituals, essentially to clear out the pagan ideas of the rest of the year, so that for November 1st, which was All Hallows Day, which is a holy day, they could have kind of cleared out all that bad juju. So I think that's where I've heard Halloween comes from, but if that's not true, let me know. So there are plans to knock down the planetarium, build another museum, and now it's just sitting there. Isn't that the terrible thing? I'm just like, I would love to have a planetarium here. I've never been to a planetarium. I want to go to a planetarium because I'm greedy. And I want it. Give me my planetarium, Doug. You've taken away the science center. Give me my planetarium. This is, of course, the museum. People on chat actually informed me of specifically the Michael Chin extension on the museum, which is controversial for sure. I think it's interesting. I think it's super cool. But a lot of people really hate it. So Halloween was created by the ancient Celtic people with its roots in the pagan festival of Samhain. The Celts lived in the area that is now Ireland, Scotland, and the Isle of Man, from Google. Okay, so I'm not far off then. Well, technically religion co-opted. So you know what probably happened was Christianity swooped in and took the day after that over to kind of detract from, or to try to maybe deicize the religion. I don't know, maybe. There's something there. I can kind of see tangentially how those pieces would fit together, and I hope what I said makes sense. I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm just logically speaking, that's kind of what they did with Christmas. That's what they did with Easter. So Halloween absolutely makes sense in my head that Samhain was taken from that as a base, and then yeah. I think they pronounce it weird, Samhain. That would also make sense. I don't proclaim to know how things are pronounced usually. That's why I'm so good being from Toronto. I will say, you will notice that I have now changed directions. So that section was the University Spadina line. We rode up, well, essentially we walked up the university part. The other part continues north from Spadina. So that will be where that line continues, and it goes all the way north. That essentially goes, it connects up to Vaughan. Not quite as far as you think, but definitely further than you would expect. From here, we are going to, let's see, first apple pie originally made in England. A1 steak sauce is from Buckingham Palace Kitchens too. Well, I mean, A1 steak sauce is just awesome. Man, here's my thing. One day, if I ever make enough money to be able to afford groceries at Loblaws, I will absolutely go on a spree and be like, I am going to buy more than just ketchup and plum sauce. I want barbecue sauce. I want spicy hot sauce. I want mustard. Ugh. Does not reach Canada's Wonderland. It reaches, I think, Vaughan Metropolitan Centre, and then from there you can take a bus. But I know that there were plans years ago to create an extension that went all the way up to Canada's Wonderland, and if they ever make that, like, that's just smart. That would go so well. Spadina. Yeah. Okay, there is some controversy in terms of Spadina, because most people in Toronto will refer to it as Spadina. The TTC refers to it as Spadina. But if you go to Spadina House, it is the house that the Spadina family built. They are very explicit in saying Spadina. And I'm just like, is it supposed to be Spadina? And the answer is, I don't know. Plum sauce is the bomb, though. Yeah, plum sauce is great. Like, if I have my nuggies, which I will usually have once a week, because I'm secretly 12, I love Spadina. Ooh. I actually, like, not normally a fan of, like, fancy pants places, but look at that display. That's nicely done. Santa. Fair enough. Yeah, this is rich land. I mean, you look in here and you're just like, I can't afford these airs. But hey, one day maybe. No, I'm a YouTuber. No, never. But one day maybe. Baseball came from cricket and rounders by means of basic rules and methods. I am loving the fact that you're just giving us so much. I do know that basketball was invented in Canada. And it was originally, most people think it was invented in America, but no, there was a heritage minute, and it proved that it was invented it was specifically invented in Ontario because they used peach baskets. And then they had to cut a hole in the middle, like get the basketballs back out again. And that was like a part of our heritage. I need these baskets back. Fair enough. Here's the thing. You talk to any Canadian for more than 5 minutes about the heritage minutes, and there's only one that will pop up. And we all know what it is. It's not the Halifax explosion. It's not penicillin. It's burnt toast. It is absolutely burnt toast. Burnt toast, number one, with a bullet every single time. That is the one that everyone remembers, because it's the one we all made fun of. Not because it was bad, but because for some reason burnt toast has become like this big thing here. Oh. This, by the way, is Bay Street. This is the next stop. This is Bay Street. So meaning we are almost done along the Bloor route of the downtown circle. Meaning once we get to Yonge, we'll go down and head back down to college, and then we're done. Deputy Stam Steele of the Northwest Mounted Police was my favorite. That's a good one. I mean, how many times did we see all of them? Many times. But there's like 3 or 4 distinctly Canadian commercials you can bring up, and of a certain age, we all know. And one of them is burnt toast. One of them specifically is the Acne commercial, where he's just like, I had a lot of, people think I eat a lot of chocolate bars. And that's like our diabetes. That's absolutely our diabetes up here. But the other one that always comes up is the house hippo. And between those three, like, that is Canadian. Yeah, exactly. House hippos. Those are a part of our heritage. We should have a house hippo like heritage moment. Let's go full circle on this stuff. Canada needs to take the market from Pizza Hut. All UK Pizza Hut restaurants are shutting down as 5Hey are going into administration. Canadian pizza restaurant chain would be awesome. You know what? I'm going to throw it out there. Panago is like some of the best pizza, period. They are delicious. Their pizza is fluffy, and it is so good. And they would actually, like, they would slam. Oh, Panago pizza is so good. I would eat there all the time if I had money. Canada will bring Daenerys. I mean, Daenerys are a good one. I just remember Hungry Hungry Hippos. That's a different commercial, but also kind of the same. If no one here has seen House Hippos, like, we will absolutely have a watch party together sometime. If there's any other Canadian commercials, like, I'm thinking you could do Don't You Put It in Your Mouth, but wasn't there a heritage moment about the natives sitting around a fire chanting and they throw something in the fire to do with spirits? Could be remembering it wrong. Maybe? I don't remember that one. But maybe. See, now I have to go home and watch all of the heritage minutes. It'll take like maybe 10 minutes. How many of them were there? There's quite a few, because there's Laura Secord. There was women's suffrage. There was the Halifax explosion. There was the one where they first landed in Canada. And it's just like, oh, come to our village. And there's like, oh, it's called Canada. And that's pretty much a perfect, you know, allegory for colonialism in one fancy shot. But yeah, this is Bloor and Young. The biggest station is underneath us right now, but I like the Rob Ford crack pipe heritage moment meme. Oh my god, that's evil, but that's hilarious. My favorite was the Brooklyn Heights and Evie Oddly doing well at the lip sync in Drag Race. That's my fake Canadian heritage meme I've seen. Saint Maria among the Hurons too. Okay, it's good to know. I just got an emergency message. That was interesting. Have you ever had that where someone just kind of like butts in and be like, are you doing this right now? I'm just like, oh crap, I should probably answer that right now. So apologies for the momentary lapse, but we're back now. The Viking settlement. Would that have been the one about Newfoundland in St. John's? I don't know. There were more of them. There was like, I don't know how many were produced. Probably about like 30, I guess. Certainly a lot of them. But they were such a part of like Canadian programming. It's kind of like the creation of Canadian Heritage Minutes should become its own Heritage Minute. That's my theory. Have you got one of them phones that allow dual camera streaming? I have not. Unfortunately. One day, hopefully. But for right now, I use a Pixel because that is my phone. And that is what I have. I'm also going to walk slowly because this guy looks like Newfoundland 1. It's in the middle of nowhere. It has to be Newfoundland, but not the Viking settlement. Okay. Oh, yes. Yes, that's exactly what it is. The ballroom is a bowling alley. It's actually the second one. I don't know if the first one's still on, like, still in the entertainment district, but yeah. From what I understand, it's nice. But, like, bowling alleys are something that died out hard. Like, when was the last time anyone was at a bowling alley? Unless you're a bowler or you live in Northern Ontario and that's like what you do for your child's birthday party. No, it does not. But shows you down there. All these there, you can definitely see how like Toronto has established itself as a city that can be many other cities. So that's why we're like considering how much cheaper it is normally to film here and all the tax credits people get for filming here. Absolutely see a lot of different places or different films and projects filling in as Toronto. So Toronto is often Chicago, often New York, often other places. Excuse me?
Sorry.
You have dualies up here. We do not have dualies. I'm afraid I don't know what that is. Is it delicious? Because if it is, then I want it. So we're coming up to CAA Theatre. This is another one of the Mervish theaters. One of the spaces that comes through. This is where Bright Stars play, which is not a musical I had heard about at all. But you never know. When it's Steve Martin and Eddie Brickell, so it's like pretty good creators of it, if nothing else. Whenever it's dark, simply look up the streetlights. I'll be the highlight of the day. Okay. There's a YouTube playlist called Heritage Mints by Channel Historica Canada. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. We will aspire to watch all of them. Jackass. I will say, I like how when I have the camera and people see that they've like cut me off or something, then they suddenly are just like, oh no, I'm not a bad guy. I'm just going to wave at you. I'm just like, yes, that excuses what you did. How dare you? Go back in time and make it better. Here, Lester. So to the left block would be the Toronto Village, which is me and Randy did the deep dive of that last week, and he's very gracious to come out, and he does want to make this a weekly thing. So I'm just like Tuesdays with Randy, 5 o'clock start time. You're gonna be great. I'm actually really excited to make it a more routine thing, just because, yeah. Randy's just such a lovely human, and the fact that he's so passionate about making like tourist destinations and really trying to highlight Toronto and its strengths, I think that's really cool. But then also just kind of being able to help him create and establish his own tour is just really nice. Randy's great. And if anyone ever wants to join me for a walk, I'm always happy to have you. So let me know. This Tuesday today. Yeah, so that'll be happening at 5 o'clock here. So that'll be in about 2 hours and 20 minutes. So that's why when I'm done this walk, I will go home. I will rest. I might actually eat something, but probably not. I had toast like not too long ago. But yeah, it's going to be another one. Toonie Tuesdays down at the King. Yeah. Well, we're going to be exploring Distillery District, which is just A, super cool area, and B, just Randy's lovely, and I can't wait to find out what's in his brain, because I trust a lot. Be the highlight of the day. It's great weather for hot soups. It is perfect soup weather. Like, talk about just a beautiful night. A toast like Rocky Horror. See, now I wish I had toast to throw, but I do not. The Heritage Minute I was thinking of is called Peacemaker. It's about planting a tree in spirits. The big demon face at the end scared me a lot as a kid. I mean, to be fair, like, I remember when I was growing up, I would look at like the Halloween decorations on people's lawns and get a little spooked. But I'm just like, I was also like a pastor's child who was super sheltered and like protected from the world. But yeah, I would say I have successfully escaped that world. But also, still good to have. So yeah, we have just passed Wellesley, meaning there is only one station left on this loop. So it would take you a trip that would roughly take you around a half hour by TTC. On this route, it would take you about an hour and 40 minutes to do a full lap around above ground. So keeping that in mind, would I recommend doing this? Actually, yeah, you see a lot of really cool stuff, but also not necessarily everyone's cup of tea. For instance, if it was the middle of winter, would I do this? Actually, it's me. Probably. I probably would. But, you know, I'm weird. If you have been here for longer than 10 minutes, you've probably already figured that out. Is hot cups of tea, Are You Afraid of the Dark properly freaked me out? Oh, yes. Yes. Are You Afraid of the Dark was terrifying. There was one episode in particular they think was like with a doll. And I just remember that one being like, that one was so freaking creepy. There's another, do you remember a show called Catwalk? I just remember maybe it was called Catwalk, maybe it was called something else. But I was like, I remember there was an episode where people had to like walk through walls, and it was like they had to prove that they could because I don't know. It was, I don't know. Is hot cups of tea popular there? Extremely. I'm more of a coffee fan myself, but hot cups of tea, impossible to go wrong with hot cups of tea. Twilight Zone Talking Tina episode. Maybe. I remember the doll being like a ventriloquist dummy. Maybe it's Goosebumps. Maybe I'm thinking of Goosebumps. I know Goosebumps had Night of the Living Dummy, but I also haven't seen either in like years and years and years, so could be anything.
Are you having workouts right now?
But then again, my brain also does hold on to like really, really useless stuff. So, who knows? I'm not gonna lie. Reading that the first time, I read Twilight Zone Taking Tina episode, and just like, oh, that's a different show. All right. Well, that's that. So we did a solid loop around downtown Toronto. We saw all of the stations of the TTC from above ground. I tried to give some context about the stuff I knew, and didn't talk about the stuff I didn't, and then I just started talking about everything because y'all are distracting in the absolute best way. So A, never change, and B, let's do this all the time. I'll be doing, for the next week or so, I'm going to be trying to be doing 1 to 2 streams every day. So keep your eyes open, and if you've enjoyed this, please tell your friends. If you want to book a tour with me, links are in the description to do so. Don't be shy. We'd love to have you. And I can't wait to see so much more of you folks in the future. Y'all have been wonderful. Thank you for keeping me company, and I'll see you later.